Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we'll know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. Today we have a lot to discuss. We're talking about those spot Bitcoin ETFs once again. Very important news here. We've got some more dates approaching that are very significant for the future of these spot Bitcoin ETFs, which could massively change the price of the cryptocurrency markets. We could see a huge inflow of cash into the cryptocurrency markets within the next couple of months, and that would be down to these ETFs. So we really need to be looking at these closely and seeing how likely they are to occur and when they are likely to occur. So we are talking about that once again today, and then we're taking a look at the latest cryptocurrency news. We have seen some fees being added to Uniswap. We will discuss that, and we've got some other news in there today. So make sure to stay tuned until the very end, and we will be analysing the price of Bitcoin then as well. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Rob says, think you get more live viewers when you do a morning show. Yeah, I'm going to continue to do the morning shows and maybe do one really early to see how that goes. Maybe a 7 a.m. stream is the answer. Maybe people want to watch before they go to work. So I'm going to try out some different times still and see what the best dates are. Jason Smith said, are all the key dates listed on the SEC, the CSE website? That they are within the news articles, but we have spoke internally about adding some sort of section to the website where you can see all of the news about this stuff all in one place. So hopefully that is coming soon. But as I've said before, the ideas list in Crypto Saving Expert is incredibly long. We are going to be working on this thing forever. There's a huge list of things that we want to be adding to the website. We haven't got time to do it all at once, so we need to prioritize that in some way. But it's very exciting, and there will be lots more coming to Crypto Saving Expert very, very soon. Let's take a look at the prices of the cryptocurrency market first this morning. So what have we got here? Bitcoin is trading at $28,414, down slightly within the last 24 hours. And Ethereum is down almost 1% within the last 24 hours to 1,580. So as I said, we will be analysing those at the end of today's stream. Let's take a look at the biggest gainers of the day. We've got Trust Wallet token up 6.5%. That was down, I believe, earlier this week. So we're just seeing some, it must have been up. It's been up pretty significantly. I do know Trust Wallet are doing a little bit of a rebrand, updating their application. We will be talking about that a lot more on the channel very, very soon. But we can see here, this was trading at around 74 cents, now trading at $1.08. So that is a big jump in this bear market. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got Toncoin up 4%, HBAR up 2%, and ApeCoin up 1.5%. In terms of biggest losers, we've got Binary X down 13, BitDAO down 5, Clay down 5, and FTT down 5% as well. Now, FTT obviously is going to be very, very volatile at this point in time. SBF is on trial right now, and we are hearing from a lot of the executives within FTX and Alameda Research, and they're all painting SBF in a bad light. So we are seeing some negative price action here, but volatility is expected there. Let's see what else is going on. Let's move on to the cryptocurrency news. It is time to talk about those spot Bitcoin ETFs. There's been a lot of changes within the last week, so we do need to highlight those today. First of all, we are talking about what an ETF could bring to the markets. Let's start off with some positivity, and then we'll talk about when they could possibly be brought into the markets. So first of all, spot Bitcoin ETF approvals could add $1 trillion to the cryptocurrency market cap, according to CryptoQuant. So their models predict that $155 billion could flow into the Bitcoin market cap should the ETFs be approved. Taking a look at this, we can see Bitcoin will become a $900 billion asset, and the total crypto market will grow to $1 trillion should their model be correct if the Bitcoin spot ETFs get approved here. So what we're looking at here is the first wave of institutional adoption in 2020 to 21 came from institutions adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, while the next wave could be financial institutions providing Bitcoin access to their clients through these spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, the interesting looking at data in here is if all of these companies that have the issuers that have applied to list spot Bitcoin ETFs put 1% of their assets under management to the spot Bitcoin ETFs, that would mean $155 billion entering the Bitcoin market. This represents almost a third of Bitcoin's current market cap, and that would take the price of Bitcoin, hypothetically, to between $50,000 and $73,000. Now, we have been discussing I've just kicked to the camera. We have been discussing the immediate impacts of a spot Bitcoin ETF here on the channel. It is widely accepted that we probably would see a nice move to the upside. We did see a little bit of a teaser of that when we saw the fake news from Cointelegraph on Monday when they falsely announced that a spot Bitcoin ETF had been accepted for BlackRock. We did see Bitcoin very quickly move all the way up to $30,000 before the news was announced that it was fake, and we saw that retracement there, but we saw the immediate impact the acceptance of a spot Bitcoin ETF could have. So $50,000 to $73,000 is a really nice number to hear, and that's just with 1% of their assets. We are going to see here if these spot Bitcoin ETFs get accepted. These companies that are issuing the spot Bitcoin ETFs have to back those ETFs with Bitcoin, so we could see a huge amount of buying pressure there and pushing the price of the asset up. And then obviously we have all of the speculative traders like you and me who would buy the assets potentially in order to see the rewards of that as we see mainstream adoption from these companies offering Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. Now let's take a look at the next bit here. Historically, during previous bull markets, Bitcoin's market cap has grown 3 to 5 times more than its realized cap, and this suggests that for every $1 of fresh money entering the Bitcoin market, the market cap could increase by $3 to $5. So Bitcoin recently momentarily jumped to $30,000 off that fake report. We have just discussed that. So we are seeing some really positive figures here and really positive analysis of what could come if we see the spot Bitcoin ETFs being accepted. So when are they going to be accepted? We have this table here, and you can see the second deadline has passed. We've seen a lot of delays for the responses from the SEC. All of these major companies, VanEck, WisdomTree, BlackRock, Fidelity, have applied for spot Bitcoin ETFs. The SEC have 4 deadlines on which they need to decide whether to delay their response, accept the ETFs, or deny the ETFs. Now, 2 deadlines have passed for the majority of these ETFs. The SEC have delayed their responses for the majority of them. So we are now looking at that date on the 14th and 15th of January to hear a response from the SEC where they will say they are either going to delay their response, accept it, or reject these ETFs. Now, why is this important? Why are we looking at the 15th of January and saying that's a potential date here? Well, a lot of us agree, a lot of you guys, I believe, agree in my opinion that we could see the SEC try and push this off for as long as possible. We've seen this before. We know Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, doesn't like Bitcoin, doesn't like cryptocurrency. I really believe he's going to try and offset the acceptance of a spot Bitcoin ETF for as long as possible. So I've been looking at the 15th of March. However, there has been some changes in the economy right now that could suggest we could see an acceptance on the 15th of January instead. Now, I believe there is a high probability we will get a spot Bitcoin ETF at some point of time, and it is a matter of when, not if. But there have been some changes here that could push Gary Gensler into having to accept these earlier than he would have wished for. So let's take a look at this. Let's see what's happened here. So Grayscale applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF a couple of years ago, and they got rejected. And then they entered a lawsuit with the SEC, and they said, you can't reject our applications on the grounds you've rejected it on. So essentially, the SEC rejected Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF application because they said there was not enough regulation and focus on market manipulation. So they rejected Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF, and Grayscale said, hold on, how can you reject our ETF application when you're accepting Bitcoin futures ETFs? They've got the same underlying assets and the same underlying infrastructure. In fact, the futures ETFs have more third-party implications. So really, there's no reason as to why you've rejected these spot Bitcoin ETFs. Grayscale went into a lawsuit with the SEC. They won that lawsuit, and that was a massive win for cryptocurrency. It's now been around 50 days since that lawsuit ended. The SEC had 45 days to appeal that lawsuit, and they did not do that. So that was really, really important that those 45 days passed before we made any future judgments. Now that 45 days have passed, the SEC have 7 days to tell Grayscale what their next steps are. So the possibilities here are that the SEC have to accept the spot Bitcoin ETF application, or Grayscale have to make a new application for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and we go through that whole process again. So let's take a look at this article here. What's next for Grayscale? So, now that the US SEC has failed to appeal its August court loss over Grayscale's application into a spot, blah, 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 we can see here the Grayscale team remains operationally ready to convert GBTC, which is their Bitcoin trust, to an ETF upon the SEC's approval. And we look forward to sharing more information as soon as practicable, said a Grayscale spokesperson. The asset manager further noted that the court will issue its final ruling within 7 days. Yes, it's not the SEC telling them what to do. The courts have got 7 days to tell Grayscale what their next steps are. Now, because the SEC have lost that lawsuit against Grayscale, that means that they can no longer reject spot Bitcoin ETFs on that ground. They need to either think of a new reason as to why they can't accept these spot Bitcoin ETFs, or they need to accept them. It's really that simple. So what we are going to see here, this is likely to be a reiteration of the original August ruling, in which the court said the SEC was arbitrary and capricious in its reasoning for declining Grayscale's application for the spot Bitcoin product. Grayscale first applied to convert GBTC to an ETF in October 21, and GBTC is the largest cryptocurrency fund in the world. So we can see here there will be so much political and legal pressure on the SEC, and Chairman Gary Gensler has to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. And this was from the analyst there. Interestingly, they suggest Gensler and the team can make a positive of the reversal. Cementing its power over Bitcoin ETFs will strengthen the SEC's push for broader crypto authority once Congress is ready to enact crypto market structure legislation. So we're waiting 7 days here to see what the courts have to say. So the court will issue its final ruling within 7 days. So that date is closely approaching. And with that, we could be seeing some major steps forward for the cryptocurrency space and for those Bitcoin ETFs. So we do need to keep a close eye on that. As I was saying, since Grayscale have won that lawsuit, the SEC need to either think of a new reason as to why they can't accept spot Bitcoin ETFs, or they need to accept them. Now, one thing that may put a little bit of a spanner in the works is this Cointelegraph false news that we saw on Monday. Cointelegraph falsely reported on Monday that BlackRock's ETF was accepted. Now, that caused a short move to the upside. We saw Bitcoin momentarily move up to $30,000, and then it came back down when we found that news was fake. And that was a really short-lived dream. It showed a little bit of insight of what's to come potentially in the cryptocurrency space, but it may have caused some more problems, and it may have given the SEC a reason to further reject these spot Bitcoin ETFs for the time being, or at least delay these spot Bitcoin ETFs. So what we've seen here is when the SEC were rejecting ETFs in the past, spot Bitcoin ETFs in the past, they were saying it was due to market manipulation. In fact, we've got the article here. So, for example, and this is their reasons for rejecting the spot Bitcoin ETFs. So they do not sufficiently refute the presence of possible sources of fraud and manipulation in the Bitcoin spot market generally that the Commission has raised in previous orders. Such possible sources have included wash trading, persons with a dominant position in Bitcoin, manipulating Bitcoin pricing, hacking of the Bitcoin network and trading platforms, malicious control of the Bitcoin network, trading based on material, and a couple of more things there. Now, the ones that really stand out is the second one, persons with a dominant position in Bitcoin, manipulating Bitcoin pricing, and the fifth one, trading based on material, non-public information, including the dissemination of false and misleading information. Now, the false post could have given the SEC reasoning to delay or deny spot ETF applications after Cointelegraph's posts. So what we saw here was human error in Cointelegraph where some news was posted and it was incorrect. It caused the price of Bitcoin to change, and it could therefore give the SEC reasoning to further delay or deny these spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, this is definitely not what we want to see when we're seeing these really positive price predictions for when a spot Bitcoin ETF is accepted, as we spoke about earlier in today's stream. We're looking at potentially $1 trillion flowing into the cryptocurrency markets, and a huge price prediction for the price of Bitcoin. We're looking at $50,000 to $73,000 according to these analysts once a spot Bitcoin ETF is accepted, if the issuers of these ETFs put 1% of their assets into these ETFs. But we could be seeing a huge delay here thanks to that news from Cointelegraph. This is something we were warning you about on Monday, and something we do definitely need to be aware of. Now, even though there is that warning there, and this is something that could happen, it's not happened yet. So I'm trying to focus on the positives, focus on what's happening with Grayscale, see what comes in when they've got their rulings from the courts following that lawsuit, and see what's positive here in the space. A spot Bitcoin ETF, I definitely believe, could be really positive for the price of Bitcoin, but we need to be looking at when this is going to happen. I personally believe the SEC will drag this out for as long as possible. They don't want these applications to be accepted, but if they ignore this Cointelegraph news and they don't think that's grounds to delay these even any further, and we focus on what's happening with Grayscale. If Grayscale get accepted, those January dates in this timeline is really important. So these issuers, all of these companies that have applied for a spot Bitcoin ETF, we're looking at their third deadlines for the majority of them, and that is the 14th and 15th of January. Now, I don't think that the SEC are going to accept Grayscale and just leave BlackRock, Bitwise, VanEck, Wisdom Tree behind. I believe we're either going to see simultaneous acceptance of these spot Bitcoin ETFs, or those bigger companies like BlackRock or Wisdom Tree or Fidelity. They're the ones that are going to get accepted first, in my opinion. I think the SEC are more likely to give those the first mover advantage than Grayscale. Now, another thing to keep note of here is, if we see the acceptance of all of these applications, we're going to see a huge push in the marketing, because all of these ETFs want to be the leading spot Bitcoin ETF. There's going to be a first mover advantage if they're not all simultaneously accepted. And otherwise, there's going to be a huge push in marketing to try and become the leading ETF. And that is marketing for Bitcoin. That is definitely something we are welcoming here. So very exciting things coming to the cryptocurrency space. The only thing holding me back from this excitement is that Cointelegraph false headline. If you want the latest cryptocurrency news, make sure to use cryptosavingexpert.com, the best cryptocurrency news website out there. We post the latest cryptocurrency news, guides, courses, market data, an A to Z, and we've got the latest cryptocurrency deals for if you're signing up to exchanges, VPNs, or if you want to purchase some hardware wallets there as well. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. We've got some more news to discuss here today. We're going to move on from those spot Bitcoin ETFs after this next story, which is from the BlackRock CEO saying there is pent-up interest in crypto from worldwide clients. Now, Larry Fink has spoken about Bitcoin's reaction to the fake spot Bitcoin ETF approval, and we have seen here what has he said in this interview with Fox Business. So Fink stated that Bitcoin's brief rally on Monday was proof of people's flight to quality, and that BlackRock's clients worldwide were discussing the need for cryptocurrency. I was watching an interview with, who was it with? I was watching an interview yesterday. I can't remember who it was with. And they were saying about the importance of Bitcoin around the world. And we definitely saw that earlier this year when we saw the increases in the price of Bitcoin, when we saw a nationwide collapse in the banking system earlier this year in the US. Lots of banking stocks collapsed and lots of banks actually collapsed as well, a couple of the major ones. So we saw a huge flight to safety to Bitcoin, and that showed the importance of Bitcoin earlier this year. And that's something we've all kind of forgotten about in the last couple of months because we've been more interested in watching Bitcoin go sideways. But this is big news here as well. Larry Fink, the BlackRock CEO, has said, I think it's just an example of the pent-up interest in crypto. We are hearing from clients around the world about the need for crypto. Some of this rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality with all the issues around the Israeli war now, global terrorism, and I think there are more people running into a flight to quality. So BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF filing is still pending, but we will wait to hear know about that news as soon as possible. We will be reporting on it on Crypto Saving Expert, the website, the Twitter profile, the social media platforms, and here on the live stream. So make sure, please, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's move on now to other things. First of all, I want to show you the cryptocurrency merch store. We've not spoken about this in a while. On the merch store, we offer cryptocurrency related merch. If you know any cryptocurrency fans and you want to get your Christmas presents sorted early, make sure to check out the Crypto Saving Expert website. We've got some deals on the website right now. We've got Halloween sales, a £65 mystery box worth over £75 there. And these are some of the items that can be included. We've got lots to offer here. If you go to the clothing section, you can see we've got t-shirts, hats, socks, and those t-shirts, what I can say about those t-shirts is we had a huge amount of samples before we came down to the winners there, and those are the t-shirts that we wear as a team. What else have we got in here? We've got the wallet. This wallet is very, very impressive, the metal seed wallet. We've also got the DIY Raspberry Pi hardware wallet kit, so you can build your own hardware wallet from a mini computer. I don't know where mine has gone, but that accompanies one of the courses on the Crypto Saving Expert website. What else have we got in here? We have got the essentials, the cups, the candles, this crypto thermal mug I use every single day. We've also got the wax melts, the Bitcoin wax melts. I've got a couple of those here. They smell absolutely lovely. I get the Chad scent, I believe. Let's take a look at this. So the wax melts, where have they gone? Here's the Bitcoin wax melts here. This is something that we've really not seen on any of the competitor websites. These are made by the Crypto Saving Expert team. I use the Chad scent. It smells like Creed aftershave. It is very, very nice. And you can choose your own scents when you are checking out there. So make sure to check out cryptosavingexpert.store. But let's get back onto the cryptocurrency news now and see what else is going on here today. Uniswap Labs have introduced a 0.15% fee on swaps. Now, this is big news here, and this is really, really interesting news. I'm not sure what the consensus of this is. Some people are thinking this is really positive. Some people are thinking this is really negative. Decentralized exchange Uniswap has introduced a flat fee for using its protocol. On Monday, they introduced the flat fee for using its decentralized exchange from the 17th of October. So on a limited set of tokens, Uniswap Labs charges a flat fee of 0.15% to sustainably fund our operations. This is separate from the Uniswap protocol fee switch, which is voted on by Uniswap governance. So the Uniswap Labs stated that the swaps between stablecoins and swaps between ETH and WETH are excluded from this fee. These tokens are subject to fees only when traded through Uniswap Labs interfaces on mainnet and supported layer 2s. So from what I understand with this is a fee used when you're using basically the front end of the Uniswap website. Now you can still, the Uniswap is open source, you can still use it without the fee if you so wish, but if you want to use the nice interface and you want to use it very easily and quickly and you're not that technical, then you are going to have to pay these fees now. Now, what impact has this had on the price of the cryptocurrency assets? So let's go to the market section here. Uniswap is currently ranked, it's not in the top 20. Where is Uniswap here? It's ranked 30 in terms of market cap. It's down 3.34% within the last 24 hours, 5.75% within the last day. Let's take a look at this. $3.90. It has seen a move to the downside in the last couple of days. If we go to the 1 hour chart, you can see this fall off since that news has been announced. Not great for Uniswap. And the future may look a little bit different to what a lot of people have anticipated. Uniswap is one of the tokens that I was looking to start accumulating on. This is going to make me reassess that decision. As I've said many times, my portfolio obviously is not a reflection of what you should do with your own portfolio. Nothing is financial advice, but right now my portfolio is very heavily into Bitcoin. I'm not looking to accumulate altcoins at this point in time. That will change in the future as long as we start to see the prices of the assets start to move to the upside. I know a lot of the altcoins right now are at all-time lows, at the lowest prices they've been since the bull market, and they do look like brilliant prices, but I like to look at the prices of the altcoins versus Bitcoin rather than their dollar value. And with that, I believe Bitcoin could have a nice run, and I like to have my assets in Bitcoin for the long term. I like to use altcoins to diversify and to outperform Bitcoin, but my end goal is to hold as much Bitcoin as possible. I'm not yet diversifying into altcoins, but I think I will do when the halving starts to hit or some point like that, if the markets start to ramp up a little bit. But I will keep you tuned on that here on the live stream, so make sure to stay tuned. Let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency space. What have we got here? We've got Binance US users no longer FDIC insured. Binance US has updated its terms of service, removing FDIC insurance. We've also seen USDC withdrawals being removed from the Binance US site, and we've also seen no UK users can sign up to Binance from Monday next week. So if you're not a Binance user and you were planning to become a Binance user, you've got until Monday before they stop you from signing up anymore, because of the new regulation in the UK. Let's continue here and see what other news we've got. Vitalik Buterin states it's never him sending or selling Ethereum. Let's get this all set up correctly. Buterin followed up with the comments after a recent transaction sent to Gemini. Now, we always see news in the media about Buterin or the Ethereum Foundation sending tokens to exchanges and getting very, very concerned that they are dumping their tokens. But Buterin has put these rumors to rest, and he's stated, if you see an article saying Vitalik sent X amount of Ethereum to exchange, it's not actually me selling. It's almost always me donating to some charity or non-profit or other project, and the recipient selling because, well, they have to cover expenses. The founder's comments come after a recent USDC transaction by the Buterin affiliated charity Camro sent a total of 15.43 million USDC to Coinbase and Gemini. Now, Vitalik has said he's not sold any of his Ethereum for personal gain since 2018, 5 years ago. And towards the end of September, it was highlighted that addresses owned by Buterin had sent 700 Ethereum to exchanges within a week. The Ethereum was sent in 2 batches with 400 ETH and then 300 a couple of weeks later, 1 week later. It also could have been that 200 ETH was converted into USDC, but what we're saying here is these transactions are actually done for donations. He's not losing faith in his asset that he co-founded, and we can all sigh a little bit of a sigh of relief there. Let's see what else is going on here. $59 million of wrapped Bitcoin debt position at risk of liquidation on Aave. So the position is at risk of liquidation due to Ethereum's weakness against Bitcoin. Yes, we've seen Bitcoin perform pretty nicely within the last week, and we've not seen that be reflected for the price of Ethereum. We are seeing the Ethereum Bitcoin chart declining, which is showing Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. This is down 23.6% since the start of January as it approaches its 2022 lows. Now, this is a chart I am interested in. When this chart starts to see some reversal, that's when I look to diversify once again. But when you look at this chart, I think it makes me look pretty smart holding majority Bitcoin in my portfolio. Let's take a look at this. The trade taken out by individual can be seen on so the liquidation risk is there on Aave. At the time of writing, the trade is 81.6% in the red with just 18.4% left before liquidation. So if the chart continues to fall, the position could be liquidated and the trader could lose all the ETH they supplied as collateral. So that is a huge trade there on Aave. I'm sure we'll see more reports on that if it does get liquidated. One last thing today is Reddit are closing their blockchain-based community points. Really sad to see this. I talk a lot on here about the transition of users from Web 2 to Web 3. In Web 3, we've got a huge amount of projects. If you go to cryptosavingexpert.com, go to the markets tab, you can scroll on here for days. There's so many tokens in the cryptocurrency space and so many projects that are working very, very hard to be a successful Web 3 project. And I think that's brilliant. I think we need that. We need that innovation and we need that change. We need to utilize this blockchain technology because blockchain technology is really, really important. But more important, there comes to a point where, yeah, we've built that quantity, we've built that quality in the Web3 space, yet we're still struggling to get people from Web 2 to Web 3, and we really need to bridge that gap. And there's not really anyone out there doing that enough, I don't think. And I think all of the hard work going on in Web 3 isn't really being utilized because of that lack of bridge. Lack of bridge bringing people from Web 2 into Web 3. Now, I like to look at projects in the traditional world that are trying to bridge people over to cryptocurrency. Reddit have been a perfect example of that. Previously, they've brought out community points. They've brought out community like digital assets, which were sold to customers in a normal manner, like you would buy on a website, on a shop. But then users could only sell their digital assets by going on chain, by going and selling their NFTs. And people didn't actually realize at their point in purchase that they were buying NFTs or blockchain based items, and that they'd have to use a like OpenSea or an NFT marketplace in order to sell those assets on. So they were bringing people into Web3 without people actually needing to know in the first instance when they were purchasing that they were using blockchain technology. That was a perfect way to bring people into Web3 and say, look, you've bought this asset, it's actually on the blockchain. If you want to sell it, you can. You just need to go to an NFT marketplace, step it out for them step by step, make it really simple, and just intrigue people to learn more about the NFT space, about the blockchain industry, and how it is brilliant for many different industries out there. Reddit were a perfect example of how we can bridge people from Web 2 to Web 3, but now they're stepping back. They can see no path to scale their community points broadly across the platform, so they're saying, look, we're removing them, we're not doing this anymore. And that is really, really disappointing, but I think we've seen this a couple of times now in this bear market. We've seen lots of companies in the bull market saying, yes, I want to get involved in crypto, I want to get involved in blockchain, and then as the bear markets hit, some of them have retracted that and said, do you know what, it's just not for us right now. And I think in the bull market, once again, we'll be seeing them ramp up their efforts and trying to get involved in the hype once again. But we'll stay tuned on that. It seems obvious to us all now that we'll see some sort of excitement once again. It's a matter of when, not if. But some of these bigger companies don't seem to be able to hold on for the long term. Let's see what's going on with the price of Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin obviously has seen a nice start to the week. We've been holding these levels pretty well. If we take a look at the daily chart here, we have a level of support here, which we have managed to hold. That is at the $28,000 level. In fact, we have slightly used this as a level of support. I'd be intrigued to see if we can continue to use it as a level of support. What else have we got here? We've got some zones of resistance and support that we need to be looking at. If we get the rectangle tool out here, you can see we definitely have some sort of level of support at that $24,800 to that $25,200 level. That is the, I'm not going to say the lowest we can go, and that is a lower bound there. I'm not expecting to go there in the near future. Hopefully we see some positivity about the spot Bitcoin ETFs within the next couple of days. We are waiting to hear what the courts say to Grayscale, and I think that is why we are seeing these higher levels being held, because there's some positivity still, and the outlook for spot Bitcoin ETFs is looking pretty good right now. What else can we see here, though, on the chart directly? What we've got here is obviously we have that $32,000 level, which is really important. We also have some levels here that we should be looking at. Definitely a range here. So let's pull that up. We're looking at between the $28,000 level to the, let's get there, $29,000 level. This whole zone has been used as a level of support and as a level of resistance in the past. We haven't yet broken above it. I would like to see a daily candle close above that $29,000 level, and then I'd be feeling pretty positive about what's to come. And I have been saying since these zones down here, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a retest for that $32,000 level. $32,000 is a really strong level of resistance. We've got 6 months left until the Bitcoin halving. And I think within that time frame, we need to be attacking that $32,000 level. And I think when we get to that Bitcoin halving, yes, we may see a little bit of a dip because we usually do. But we need to have broken down that $32,000 level enough so that we can actually bash through it when that time comes. And I think that's going to take a couple of takes. So I wouldn't be surprised right now if we do retest that zone. Obviously, nothing is financial advice. We are just looking at this. It's a very speculative asset, very, very volatile. I do need to put that caveat there. But things are exciting. We're excited to see what's coming with these spot Bitcoin ETFs. As we said at the start of the stream, a spot Bitcoin ETF could push Bitcoin up to $50,000 to $73,000 a according to the analysts at CryptoQuant. So things are looking pretty positive. We will keep you up to date with what happens with the Grayscale ETF. We are waiting now. We're in the final days to hear what's to come. We will be hearing from the courts. They will be telling Grayscale their next steps, how they can continue to move forward with their spot Bitcoin ETF, whether we get immediate acceptance or if we need to reapply for a spot Bitcoin ETF. But exciting things to come here in the cryptocurrency space. So make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button for today's stream. Make sure to sign up to cryptosavingexpert.com. You can get a free membership over there. And make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. But that's all I have time for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I hope you have enjoyed, and we will be back here tomorrow with another cryptocurrency news update. So make sure to stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching.